Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show, the podcast. A kind of a newsy sort of episode today. It's not breaking news. This happened last week, but GOAT is gone from online play in MLB The Show, and it underscores SDS's willingness to change. How nice. That was a thing that was hard for them to do in recent years. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about what it means. We're going to talk about some content stuff, a little bit of everything. So, appreciate you guys for being here. Stick around for the conversation. If at any point you'd like to become part of the conversation, comment down below. I love the talks, the discussions that these episodes spark. So, thank you guys for being here. Let's get popping. And as I said yesterday, I'm not going to reiterate this in every video this week, but I do want to say it for the podcast because it's a different audience, a larger audience. I purchased a house. Me and my wife purchased a house. We are under contract. My first home. So over the next, I don't really even know the firm timeline yet. I'm very overwhelmed, but within the next 4 to 6 weeks, you'll start to see some things change. I'll be packing up my background. At some point, you will see me in a new space. There may be a time in which content takes a small break, like a week. All of that will be communicated. None of it will be a surprise. I promise I'll be transparent. I'll keep you guys in the loop. But the point of all of this is to say, I truly, truly thank you. All the support. I have a career separate from this that is largely paying the bills. But I don't know if I would have been able to go all in like this and buy a house had this not been successful as well. So thank you guys. Truly, it means a lot. Also, if you're a new listener, like and subscribe because I need to help affording my mortgage. So thank you. Truly. Thank you. Thank you. Let's get on to the stuff. I know it was a long winding intro. Let's get on to the stuff. So GOAT is gone. SDS came out with a game update and just took GOAT away from online and the Weekend Classic, which is the same thing from online head-to-head and the Weekend Classic. It came as a little bit of a surprise to me. So the last mention of GOAT in MLB The Show came when SDS tinkered with the GOAT PCI size and shrinkage on sliders. And to me, I thought that alone, truly, when I read that they were doing that, I was like, oh, they're listening and they want this to work. They are willing to make changes on the fly to get it to work. GOAT being introduced, I don't want to say it was a good thing because I'm not someone who experiences GOAT online play, so it would be unreasonable for me to talk about it like that. What I will say is, on the surface, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Legend has been the thing for X number of years. The top players are so good on Legend, they're ready for a new challenge, I would think. And again, I don't want to be speaking for them. I don't want it to seem like I am. That's just where my head went when I first heard it. But then as I'm hearing and watching people play on GOAT and how little fun some people are having on GOAT, all of the drawbacks in terms of PCI sizes and, they introduced ambush this year. And then if you ambush incorrectly on GOAT, you can't even see the PCI. People are just spamming sliders, even with the PCI change from a little bit ago. It became clear that GOAT was an issue. It was causing more ill effects than positive ones. I would like to take a quick tangent here and open up the conversation that I know is coming. All the top players can't stand when they're not scoring 20 runs a game. This is real baseball. No, it's not. It's a video game. If you're good enough to score 20 runs on Legend, go score 20 runs on Legend. It's a video game. People who have complaints about the players scoring 20 runs on Legend oftentimes are not even playing in that ranking. And I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm just saying that as a fact. Because the people scoring 20 runs consistently on Legend are the 0.1% of the 0.1%. They are the 0.00001%. Now that we've gotten that out of the way. Is GOAT gone forever? That's the question I have. I don't know. I can truly see a world. Because GOAT still exists in offline. Diamond Quest, things of that nature. Extreme, it will certainly be a thing for Extreme. With GOAT still in the game, it could live on in two ways for next year. Number one, It exists again exclusively as an offline difficulty to give offline grinders a new challenge. And that in itself is cool. I think that's good. I have no issue with that. There is also the possibility that SDS takes the next 6 months or whatever it is, their development cycle, and finds a way to figure out how they can make GOAT work. I can go a few ways on this. Like, I have long advocated for a universal pitch speed, with the only thing changing per difficulty the size of the PCI. That can't be the GOAT pitch speed, though. I would have said Hall of Fame. Maybe like a hybrid between Hall of Fame and Legend. That immediately is going to turn people off. I understand that. So maybe that's not the solution. Maybe the solution is the PCI size is always the same. Like, I don't know. I don't know how you can get GOAT to work. Legend, I just played a Legend game. You'll see it later this week. I did not have fun. I'm not someone who plays on Legend a lot, if ever, so, like, I get it. I thought that was the fastest a pitch could go. GOAT, the pitches are just disappear. You're cross-eyed trying to play the game. You can't see anything. So, GOAT is gone. And I am so very curious what the community at large thinks about it. I know the top players who play on GOAT are very happy. I'm curious what everybody else thinks. You know, generally speaking, everybody else won't even touch GOAT. So it might not even impact you, but I'm just curious of your thoughts. GOAT being gone, I think, is ultimately, at this point, right now, in this vacuum, good for the game. For the rest of MLB The Show 25's life cycle, I think GOAT being gone is good for the game. I am not going to be upset if it comes back for MLB The Show 26, because that tells me, reading between the lines, that they did work and that they're confident that it will play better. That's what that tells me if it comes back next year. If it doesn't come back next year, that means they are accepting defeat and kicking it to the curb, kind of like they did with Sets and Seasons. The reason Sets and Seasons had to take 2 full years is because they gave it a try the first year. Then the second year, they thought they made meaningful improvements. And then when it was clear that improvements were not meaningful enough, they told us during the game cycle, hey guys, don't worry, it's not coming back. It was a content structure that couldn't be changed mid-year. Simply all they did here was remove a difficulty and retune which difficulties are assigned to which Weekend Classic divisions. That's it. So ultimately, I think a very good thing for right now. But going back to the Sets and Seasons thing, it underscores the thing that a lot of people in the community can't seem to grasp. This is going to sound fully like an SDS shill episode, and I promise you it's not. This is me just using logic and my eyes. Everyone says SDS doesn't listen. They very clearly do. The 2 biggest things that have plagued the community the last few years, Sets and Seasons, where are those? They're gone. GOAT for the last 3 months, where's that? It's in the basura, the trash can. All based on user, consumer, community feedback. That's what it's based on. It is based on people's feedback. SDS does listen. What a lot of people confuse listening for is action. There are some things that people have complaints about that they cannot act on for any variety of reasons. And I'm not going to pretend to know the reasons. That's not me saving them from, like, you know, themselves. It's just some things they are told they can't act on, or they don't have the capability to act on, or their spaghetti code is they don't want to mess with it. There are a million reasons possibly why. But SDS is fully in tune with the community. Like, it is listening. It just can't always create every change that is asked for. The big ones, Sets and Seasons, GOAT, the ones that, like, truly impact the player base, they make decisions, hopefully for the betterment of the community. Sets and Seasons being gone brought back the power creep. I've enjoyed it. I think this year's power creep does open up its own set of circumstances, how it's moving a little slow, which I don't really mind, but some people are upset about it, and I get it. That's okay. You know, the pay-to-play model more and more becoming part of it, or pay-to-win model, or pay-to-improve model, whatever you want to call it. pay for the best cards model. I get it. I don't like it either. But the power creep itself brings back team building for me. I think brings back team building for a lot of people, so that's good. GOAT being gone is just as simple as bringing us back to Legend, the good old days. Nobody ever complained about, oh, I wish there was a harder difficulty than Legend. So, I mean, we're just back to status quo at this point. And in my eyes, that's fine. The next thing I want to talk about, and kind of has to do with listening, is the content lately. Because the content, ever since the worst content drop in the history of MLB The Show, the Pipeline Past, it's been superb, or damn good. Superb is really aggressively positive. The summer program, as we talked about, was great. Free card, Nick Castellanos. He's my DH. Awesome card. Jerry Pena could be your shortstop. Really good. A bunch of the pack cards, and I know they're in packs, but a bunch of the pack cards, they're good. Big fan. This Paul Skeens program, listen, I'm personally not the biggest fans of this particular Paul Skeens card, but it's an easy-to-do program, gives you a 94 starter, gives you 9,000, 12,000 XP. Awesome. Awesome. I won't complain about that. Spotlight. Evan Carter is a good Spotlight card. Is he great against lefties? Obviously not. But he's got a sweet swing. He's got good clutch. The durability isn't max. You know why? Because he was hurt at one point last year. Fielding's good. Speed's good. Reaction. This is a very good card. This is a starting caliber outfielder for people who are playing no money spent. This is a good card. Most of these cards have been shit. These Spotlight cards. These are good. Plus, the Spotlight pack, which I know is a whole... It's the tax every week. You gotta pay. I know. I don't like it either. But at least the cards are good this time. This Jacob Les Miserables, who you'll see on Thursday. I had to think back again to when I recorded. This is a good card. Is he perfect? No, but he's fun. And he's worth the stubs, possibly, that you're putting into buying him. Like, he will be in your rotation if you purchase him, most likely. And that's all I ask. This Casey Schmidt, ain't nobody talking about him. It's legitimately a reasonably good card. His defense is okay when you factor in the arm and the accuracy. The speed at 65 is fine. He's got no stealing or base running aggressiveness, so they can put those attributes other places. He doesn't have max durability. His clutch is better than both contacts. He's 109 power right, 84 power left, 72 vision. All of this plays, plus he has 4 positions he can play. I think you're only playing him at third, first, and second. I don't think you're playing him at short, personally. But this is a card I might even give a go on my God Squad. I know nothing about Casey Schmidt's swing. It's going to be worth a shot. Like, if you're going to make me pay for cards, at least make them good. That's my only gripe with how content has been. So if you're going to make me pay for these weekly drops, make the cards good. And they've listened lately and done that. That to me is a win. That to me means there is understanding and listening. Listen, I get all the gripes, and I feel a lot of the gripes myself. Let me just check to make sure I'm not behind on my Sosa stuff. I am. I have to hit a homer. We're going to do that live on camera. I get it. Trust me. And I'm all for constructive feedback. I will never tell somebody to not give constructive feedback. But, and I've said this over and over again, a reasonable person who gives constructive feedback and wants improvements also has to stand up and say, this is good. And I'm here to say, shit. This stuff, if you're just listening, you have no idea. I'm playing a Sammy Sosa moment. If you're watching, you see it. This stuff has been good lately. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. I'm not trying to claim it is. I'm not saying this is the best MLB The Show ever, nor am I saying this is the best content ever. But they're, seemingly rewriting the ship here. Steering back on course. And it's just in time, too. Like, oh, God, I'm really bad today. I have not hit well today. It's right on time. Because with the All-Star content coming up in probably about a month, right? It should be about a month. That's when content needs to be peak. Here we go. That's when content has to be the best of the best, because that's an engaged baseball audience. I hit the shit out of that ball, and I finished the moment. And you gotta hook people now. Oh, they also, by the way, changed the end of this program to give us better packs. Shout out. Appreciate that. And how could I forget this card? Because it just terrorized me in a game that, again, you'll see in a few days. Rafi Devers changed teams. They gave us an easy peasy to complete collection for a free God Squad caliber player. That's all we've been asking for, is cool stuff that's grindable, and that the free stuff be at least close-ish to the paid stuff. I know it can't always be one-to-one. I want the floor raised, and they have achieved that since I made that comment. Since the Avengers of content creators got together a few weeks ago and recorded podcasts with me. Shout out again to all the boys. You know who you are. Appreciate you. Just wanted the floor raised. And this is a great example. New Threads is a new content series this year. Rafael Devers is already the most consequential player who's going to be moved this season. They took advantage of a cool opportunity and did a fun, free thing for the community. And all they had to do was build a card and collection lock it. Everybody who plays this game as much as I do, or even half as much as I do, does these when they come out, or within a few days. So it's easy to get Devers. I'm happy with where the game is at this moment. In terms of content, in terms of feedback, in terms of direction. Gameplay still occasionally has its issues. I still think BR and events are devoted less server attention, and that's why they run like absolute cat shit. It's frustrating because the 3-inning modes are sometimes the most desirable to play because you don't have a lot of time. You just want to scratch your competitive itch. A lot of them, in my opinion, are largely unplayable. Events, totally. Events, beside the fact that events have no rewards, the events connection, every game I play is terrible. And it's not me, because my ranked connections are typically pretty good. But aside from that, I am pretty happy with where the game is at this point. You know, as these new overalls, these higher overalls are starting to come out, I'm seeing the cards being built better. I don't know if that's just because we're getting higher overalls, or if SDS is better at building 94s than 89s, or if they're just making good decisions now. And I'm hoping it's that one. Really hoping it's that one. Because I'm enjoying the game at this moment. I have a lineup that is largely of guys I like. Still working on finding a second baseman. Catcher is, state of flux as well, but I'm open for new content to give me new team ideas. So that's all I wanted to say. It's more of a kind of a state of the game podcast, but not an overtly negative one. A lot of these state of the game podcasts are often very, very blunt, truly. And this one's blunt in the other way, where it's like, listen, let's just take a step back and realize that sometimes the things we say are actually enacted. And we should be like, thank you, SDS. We don't got to bow down to them. We don't got to shill them. We don't got to say everything that you've done wrong is right. I want to make that clear. I'm not doing that. I am just taking this at face value and saying, good change. SDS does good. And I think anybody with a mind and nuanced thought will understand where I'm coming from. Other people will be upset at it, and they just like to yell anyway. And I don't care about those people. So I'm trying to be a positive Peter? Positive Peter? Alliteration? I don't know. So that's going to be it for this episode. A shorty, so to speak. But I got to go, pack and throw shit out. And, I'm moving into a house soon. Wild. I'm in a house now. Moving into my own house soon. Yeah. Thank you guys again. Truly. Not possible without you. Love you all. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Anything that we talked about today, let's have a conversation. All right? See you next time.